The wolf is by far the most powerful canine in this day and age. It lives in larger packs and it has an amazing ability to adjust to its surroundings. The wolves of Scandinavia has long been present from around the latest ice age. To this day, there is still a few wolves left in Norway and Sweden, but they became extinct in Denmark by the early 1800s because of the fact that the Danes hunted them until they were extinct. The wolf became a protected species by the year of 1966 in Sweden. At this time, it was estimated that the whole population of wolves in Sweden was below 10. After the wolf became a protected species, the population of the wolf started to increase again. And keeping in consideration that according to WWF, over 500 wolves were killed in Sweden on average between 1827 and 1839. The reason to this is believed to be that the farmers of Sweden was by law allowed to hunt wild animals, such as elk, boar, and deer, which they were not allowed to before, and because of this, the wolves lost a very valuable source of food. Since the wolf is in fact a carnivorous animal, it only feeds off of other animals, and when the farmers started to hunt the animals that were wild, the wolves started to prey off the farmers' cattle. Since Sweden at this point mostly was an agricultural society, the most valuable thing that the farmers had was their own cattle. This did not only lead to a great battle of food between the farmers and the wolves, but also a great lack of elk and deer. The wolves had not been a great danger to society until this point, when the wolves in desperation came searching for cattle, when instead met humans. There is one well-known incident with the so-called vargen. This wolf managed to kill and eat 9 children, and after this, the fear of the wolf grew even larger, and the struggle to wipe out the whole wolf race started. More than 6,000 wolves were killed during a short period of time. After this, most of the remaining wolves were forced up in the far northern parts of Sweden, where it was very sparsely populated and it could live in peace, far away from the other humans. If it had not been for the wolf being made a protected species by the 1960s, the wolf would probably have been extinct by now. Proof of this is that the fact that the population of wolves had been steadily decreasing until 1966, but then again, after a few years, started to rise again. However, the population of wolves will never be as great as it was in the early 1800s, but it's still important to keep the genus of wolves alive. Keeping in mind that the wolf is a big consumer in the nutrition pyramid, it would do a great deal of damage to our ecosystem if it was to disappear.
The Scandinavian wolf population was re-established during the 1980s through natural immigration. The population is based on only 3 founders, 1 female and 2 males. The population has grown from 8 animals in 1990 to about 100 animals in 2002. The population is isolated with a gap of approximately 800 kilometers to the nearest source population in eastern Finland. There has been some controversy regarding how large a population of wolves in Scandinavia must be to stay viable, also in the long term, and whether it at present is possible to allow any takeout of wolves for damage control purposes. Because of its isolated situation, the most pressing problem for the viability of the population regard genetic aspects. In an attempt to further clarify these issues and learn more about conservation and management of a small wolf population, an international expert workshop discussing genetical aspects and conservation of a small wolf population, with emphasis on the recently founded Scandinavian wolf population, was intended and organized by the Scandinavian Wolf Research Project, Scandov. An expert panel consisting of 6 internationally well-reputed scientists was invited, including 3 geneticists, 1 population biologist, and 2 wolf ecologists. Other invited participants were concerned Scandinavian scientists, conservation management personnel, and representatives Other invited participants were concerned Scandinavian scientists, conservation management personnel, and representatives from NGOs. In all, 29 persons attended the workshop. The workshop was held at Färna herrgård in Västmanland, 3rd to 3rd May 2002. During 3 days, the workshop discussed issues like the general importance of genetics in relationships to other problems for small populations, science and demographic effects of inbreeding, the effectiveness of purging, the need for long-term evolutionary potential of Scandinavian wolves, the theoretical and empirical basis for the so-called 50-500 rule, different ways of calculating the ratio between genetically effective population size and total population size, the usefulness and shortcomings of minimum valuable population estimates and risk and possibilities the usefulness and shortcomings of minimum valuable population, estimates and risk and possibilities of performing control operation in a small Scandinavian wolf population.
Today we also have laws for protecting the wolves and protect the farmers. The first law is Protecting Hunting Act. That makes the farmer can protect their cattle from the wolf so they can shoot them. We also have a license law that makes only a sort of people that can shoot the wolves, and they have orders from Naturvårdsverket, so they ain't not going to kill too many wolves. The states like Dalarna, like the upper north Sweden and downward Sweden.
Sweden has made many decisions about how many animals we can hunt every year, and also for every state we have. One example is that the minimum in Dalarna is 70 wolves that can live there, and in Värmland they can only have 110 wolf packs. We don't know in the near future how this is going to look out, but we can think this will be a reduced number because we humans build out our towns so they cross turfs that wolves have. This is making a big problem for the ecosystem in Sweden and will maybe make it collapse. After nearly 20 years of dedicated recovery efforts, there is now a slowly recovering population of wolves in the northern Sweden. This incredible comeback has placed wolves on a path towards recovery across states, and expanding wolf populations near towns are growing as the number of packs are now breeding in eastern parts of Sweden. But where states has been taking over wolf management from the federal government, they are once again aggressively targeting wolves in an attempt to reduce the population. As advocates of wolf deficiency, these measures come in all forms, including proposals to expand wolf hunting quotas and extend that makes the people who hunting it illegal going to stop, hunting seasons, and reducing population to absolute minimum, to cull wolves in order to boost elk herds for hunters and more. What we people can do. Time is what we can do and stop the market for wool. We can stop buying cloth that contains wolf wool. That makes the market for wolf smaller, and the people who will sell wolf can also vote for different politics parties that want to stop or make the hunting smaller for the product. Learn about the ecosystem in Sweden so in the future we can be more careful about the wolf here. Because if the wolf disappears, the ecosystem is going to be in danger.
We people have always been afraid of wolves, because they have been afraid of us and our cows. We could see this in Denmark, where they kill almost every wolf. Later on in Sweden we killed almost all wolves here too, but we stopped. Today is much better. We'll learn more about the ecosystem and how the wolves act. And we add a lot of laws. In the future, we must be better at this to protect the wolves.